presenter for this session. Okay, so our third presenter is Kun Vorapon Mahakaew, and the topic for the presentation is effects of flipped classroom with computer-assisted instruction to enhance basic research knowledge of fourth-year English major students, College of Liberal Arts, Rangsit University. So welcome, Kun Vorapon Mahakaew. Let's get started. Yeah.
So everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so very much. So good afternoon, everybody. And first thing first, I'd like to thank you so very much for helping us this time, Associate Professor Dr. Bunjira. So it's such an honor to have presented this for you and all the participants. So my name is Vorapon Mahakaew. I'm from Tony. I'm from College of Liberal Arts, Rangsit University. I am a full-time lecturer at English Language Department. And today I'd like to spend around 7 to 10 minutes talking about my research, which is about a flipped classroom, CAI, and basic research knowledge. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to start with this very picture. I guess all of us, students, teachers, educators, we are familiar with this picture, right? Not only in Thailand, but I guess all around the world, for the past 2 or 3 years. And some of us might feel like it's suffering, like right from the start, like for example, in Thailand, 2 years ago, April, everything is like, oh my gosh, because we got to come up with whatever we really don't know what to do back in the day, right? Back in that time, 2 years ago. And we were introduced with Zoom, and Google Meets and stuff, and we tried to figure out what we are going to do with the students. But I think there is a rainbow, a ray of light in this mad time, in this pandemic, because I think that it's really time for us as educator, as a teacher, researcher, and back to Professor Hashita when she talked about research and the classroom stuff, and I think that we have time to really sit and reflect what we've gone through. And these 2 years is amazing for me because I think that I got to look into a lot of courses that I have been taking care of. And one of this is independent study, which I believe that our chairperson and keynote speakers and other teachers right here know very well, right? And I just want to start with this very subject because, believe it or not, if we take a look at this very model, which I conduct my research based on, we started with the A, or analyze. So we analyze the macro level, and we can see that our educational system, we do have like from primary education, to pre-primary education to secondary education. Independent study was included as a requirement course for students. Module 4, 5, 6. And if you recall, lately, maybe not more than 2 years ago, a lot of criticism, a lot of controversial have been brought up talking about this. Why do we need to study IS in secondary, in high school? Why? What's the point of studying that, And believe it or not, all of our adequate students have been passing this course before they came to us in undergrad level. But if they go through to our 4th year and they got to do the IS, right? For example, like most of our undergrad programs in Thailand, normally is pretty much like the requirement for the mandatory course for students at pretty much like the last term of before the graduation. Sometimes they really don't know what IS is, and it's pretty I would not say sad, but it's something that we should discuss, right? Let's get back to our English discipline curriculum. I graduated from Faculty of Arts, right? And I don't know that the kind of academic writing or basic research was included in those courses like Elizabethan or Shakespeare, where my teachers asked me to read this, research that, reflect, write in your own words and stuff. That's the research basis, right? But I really don't know back then because the curriculum does not really tell me it's the research. But for curriculum based like liberal arts like mine is included, saying that we have IS for you, we have academic writing for you. You will learn about research, you will learn about how to write in the academic register. So yeah, this is pretty much like the dependent variables or the things that the skills that the student needs to have, academic writing and research about knowledge. So it's really important because these two really support 21st century skills, which Ministry of Education, or higher ed really focus on, right? So we want students to have critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, even communication. And they get to do the literacy skills and even life skills like initiative and productivity. So what fits here is that academic writing is how you communicate with your readers. And research knowledge is something that coming up with the creativity, even the CL or collaboration learning, stuff like that. However, if you take a look at these three pictures, I'm not saying that it happened to all the courses, other courses in other universities or campuses, but looking back over 10 years, right in my classroom, talking about academic writing, talking about IS, I would say that teacher fronted giving lecture is my main teaching approach. And it means what? It means that if we really want to focus on dependent variable, only this part, research about knowledge in the IS course, let me just clarify a little bit that in my curriculum is pretty much like 15-week course, right, for an IS. But normally students cannot finish like their paper within 15 weeks for sure. They got to have like more than 4 months or 6 months to finish everything, right? So it's our duty as a course manager that I got to provide them the research knowledge first for 7 weeks. And after that, later on, the student will be equipped with be developed with the skill, academic, not research, writing skill again with that advisor, IS advisor. So the reason why I brought this up because this is the main study, the main focus of my study, only research about, research knowledge. So I just want to go to this very fast, because once we talk about dependent variable, we talk about research knowledge, we got to talk about Bloom taxonomy. Why is that? Because right here in this course, for us to do the workshop for students, we want the students to remember the concept. They can define, they can memorize, they can repeat, and better they can understand, classify, describe stuff, But in this course, in this study, in this research, I will not give the treatment in order to students to be able to apply, to implement, or anything like that, because it's another part with the advisor. So I just want to make this clear. So what's next? Taking a look at this very picture, So what's the problem? What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that with teacher fronted analysis of the macro level to micro level right here in my curriculum, in my class, I just want to design according to ADDIE model. Teacher fronted lecture is not enough. It means that I got to look for something that might be able to help the students. So let's take a look at this one very fast. Daily time spent using social media. Let's take a look at Thailand. We are pretty much the top countries in the world that we spend a lot of time using social media. Translation tools, top 5, top 6. And we are number 1, weekly online purchases. So according to these figures, these stats, it shows what? It shows that Thai learners, Thai populations tend to be with their mobile devices all the time. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's fact. It's fact, right? But I got to use these stats to go with teaching approach that might help or might facilitate students. So if you recall from Dr. Kang when he talks about flipped classroom, which I have done research with him in Vietnam, and it's amazing. And as likeท่านอาจารย์ Bunjara said, that is pretty much a soft skill for the 21st century, and we try to apply this method with them. So why not with the basic research knowledge, right? So flipped classroom right here is the assignment, the activities that they got to do before class, and then the interaction facilitated by the teachers, interaction in non-online class. And after that, we got to come up with activities that check the understanding. So these are advantages, a lot. Learning performance, flexible learning, self-paced, if you recall, enjoyment stuff, individualized learning. And when we talk about videos in flipped classroom, it's not enough. And I think that, so what should be another treatment that I can, thank you so much, Kun Jirayut. Yeah, so we're going to talk about this picture, computer assisted instruction. I believe that Ajahn Sao or evenท่านอาจารย์ Bunjara might have heard this before, right? And it's pretty much like back in the day, almost 20 years ago, that as a language learner, we got to practice our language skills with computer assisted instruction, pretty much like PowerPoint, and we studied there with the computer, right? And I'm not saying it's outdated. I'm saying it's classic, right? It's classic. So there are a lot of advantages of CAI. So I think that flipped classroom is not enough. I got to find another concept or approach that help with the flipped classroom. And as you can see, yes, CAI is everything. It's pretty much like the fundamental stuff for flipped classroom, for application, even a web-based language learning. And here are the advantages. And I will go through this very fast because we have like maybe 2 minutes left. So this is pretty much like my independent variable, the treatment or intervention. This is the Google Classroom, where I post my assignment with video. Students need to study beforehand, and then in class, I'm not repeating the lecture again, but I'm trying to do something with activities that check whether they understand, whether they can memorize with the concept and stuff. And this is the CAI, right? And after that, they got to have the homework for them again. And this is pretty much like the in-class activity where I have Ajahn Dr. Apinan, even Ajahn Sao helping me with this one, right? And here comes the results, So the participants of this is 100, a lot of students participated in this study, you know, mostly female, and they're in their 4th year. So that's the reason why they are doing this from 22 to 25 years old, and they have pretty much okay with the GPA. And for this one, you know, with the treatment, with the intervention, and I would say that it's great because we can see the difference right here. I mean, in terms of the significance in terms of stats right here, that it shows that with this TAT test, the result shows the difference between the post-test and pre-test. It means that with the treatment, the students can perform better, right? I mean, the knowledge with the test that I provide. And the last, thank you so much. And the last one is right here, is the satisfaction. So they mostly they are satisfied with the flipped classroom and CAI. Here comes the last page, I mean last slide right here. I don't have the discussion. I don't have the conclusion. I think that I would leave this with you guys, that as an educator, as a teacher, I think it's time for us to really reflect and find other approaches that can really fit, because I believe that no single approach, teaching approaches that can fit, you know, all the classes. So I don't want to say thank you to COVID-19 pandemic, you know, but I want to say that thank you for the opportunity for me as a instructional designer to really reflect and finding something new, something beneficial for students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kun Vorapon Mahakaew, or Kun Tony, right? I absolutely agree the way that you see the crisis as an opportunity, right? Yeah, that's great attitude, seeing it as an opportunity to learn new things, to become better version of us, right? Of you and your students as well. All right, yeah, that's quite the attitude that we need these days. So now let's see, question or suggestion from participants, please. Yeah. Any questions or suggestion? Yes.
Okay, I have one question
Okay,
my
sure.
beloved brother. Yes, okay. So it seems like your research seems to be a long run, right? So you need to like further conducting this research, for example. So what do you plan in the future? How would you gonna implement your flipped classroom and also the computer assisted in your classroom? Do you have any like comments or suggestions, please?
Yeah, thank you so very much. This is a very good question, you know, because Ajahn Sao and I really helped develop this course, and the resource here is pretty, I would say that pretty satisfying, but the limitation is something that I got to work on, because with the CAI we use Captivate to develop the CAI, you know, and with the PowerPoint too. But in reality, some students might not right now, they have portable devices like iPad, like their phone, right? But they don't have laptop or desktop computer. It means that here that this might not work for them. And if we follow ADDIE model, analyze learners, it might not fit all of them. So in the future, I am planning to develop an application. And I think that it might be good for all of them. I mean, not only my students, but maybe it could be implemented in other, I mean, campuses or universities, you know, in the future. Yes, thank you so much, Ajahn Sao.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn Sao, for question, and also pointing out what could be add into Kun Varapon's research, right? Okay, all right. Any more suggestions or questions?
Can I have one question?
Sure, yeah, please.
Yes, so
from Kun Shanita, right?
yes,
From
Shanita, yes.
I'm not sure that my question is like out of your framework of research or not, but because I have taught writing before, not now anymore, but a lot of problem raised from my colleagues who teach writing, that yes, I welcome any new model that we are in the era of new technology, that we have to make use of it for teaching and learning. But anyway, the problem is that when you assign the writing assignment to the student, how could you make sure that the writing is the writing that student of the student they own? Could you have any idea of that?
Oh, thank you for the question. You know, and I think that we all encounter pretty much the same challenge right here. Right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, you're so right about this, because sometimes the emergence of technology, you know, especially educational technology, where students can really find ways to
Copy and
really,
paste, right?
you know, copying, pasting, you know, and it's not good because it's plagiarism, right? Or even like they try to use some other, you know, AI, I mean, artificial and intelligence driven applications. But there are ways that thanks to Rangsit University, you know, we were preparing for this, you know, with the turn it in program, right? I mean, for my students, they got to send me the files, and I will process this with the turn it in. And turn it in is so good because once I have it like checked, it will show the sources, you know. But if we are teachers, or we talk about this, the cognitive, we talk about psychomotor, we talk about the heart. I mean, right? It is the heart and the mind, and we got to really promote this. You know, that it's illegal. I'm too hard for this. It's not illegal, but it's something that you can be sued later on if you just copy and paste like that. You know, because it's plagiarized. And I think that I showed them a lot about this. You know, that in the news, Ajahn Bujra, right? In the news,
yeah.
We can really, you know, show this research paper was sued by a Korean company, if you recall, right? And I think that this pretty much like not threatening them, but trying to really building up their first thing first, their responsibility for themselves, you know, not copying and pasting, you know. So I would say that I would end up that it goes right back to instruction. We got to teach them how to paraphrase, how to do the in-text citation, and this one is pretty much like it's not that easy to really complete the goal, right? So we got to find the approaches. Flipped classroom could be the one. Task-based language learning can be another one. You know, but task-based is not enough because it's focused on authentic language. We got to find form-focused instruction too, like Ajahn Chenta said about grammar again, right? So yeah, all together. So ADDIE model is the answer for everything for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I agree that the thing that would be helpful for them not to plagiarize is to raise their awareness, right? Like show them examples and make them aware that is really something that damaging their future if doing this kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, everyone has to be careful this day. It's like getting more and more serious. Yeah.
Very serious ครับ ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณค่ะ great work as well. Another great piece of work. So yeah, I think that's all for the presentations that I'm covering today.
That's
So
right.
it's very nice being here again one more time, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the presentation in this conference. And so yeah, so
thank you so much.
So let me close my session and hope you guys learn a lot and spend the rest of your day meaningful.
Thank you so much.
ขอบคุณครับอาจารย์ครับ
ค่ะ
It's a pleasure meeting you again, and also